welcome. I don't know if you can hear the drum rolls, but I guess it's because Durgesh is joining us at the background. Welcome, Durgesh.
Hello, hello.
We're here because we want to promote conscious living. This is a series about the Aware Parent by Solkatha, where we talk to people from different walks of life who are all passionate about children, parenting, and about being more aware about why we do what we do. And I think that for everyone who's watching, this is a call for action, which first begins with conversation and thought, to all come together and say, hey, are we doing this right? Can we be doing this differently? How can we create a whole new generation that is empowered and feels really, really loved and treasured? Durgesh Nandini is with us because she believes in everything that I've just said. She is a blogger, an unschooling mom. I think we'll get into a little more of that. She travels with her children. She uses the world as her school, and she doesn't have a dustbin at home. Yes. She believes in zero waste management. So, living minimally, and she conducts workshops on this, on minimalism, on relationships, on parenting, and pretty much everything that you probably need for a more fulfilled life. So, the topic that we're going to be talking about today is parenting, a spiritual path. And I'd like to throw that question to Durgesh. Durgesh, what do you think about that? Do you think that parenting is a spiritual path? What do you think of parenting, first of all? Just let's start with that.
Yeah, so this question I would like to first address. And thank you, Karishma, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity like to meet varied kind of people. I believe that every word, every person is a guru. So thank you for letting me meet a lot of gurus here through you. And is parenting a spiritual path? I think anything that you get deep into is spirituality. I so think entrepreneurship is also spirituality. I so think farming is also spirituality. So anything that you see deep dive, there's a lot of love. And love is spirituality, is what I think so. And what, according to me, is parenting is an opportunity to learn, a great opportunity to learn if we are aware. I always tell my husband, I have 5 more years to learn more from these little children. I have changed so much, not because of not only because of the things that I'm following, example zero waste or organized living or minimalism. More than these, it is my children from whom I learned so much. They have a very beautiful eye to the world, crystal clear, unconditionally lovable eyes to this that they have. So I'm learning a lot about how to live, how to love through my children. So parenting is my biggest, children are my biggest guru. So that is what I see parenting as.
That's really beautiful. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, that how can we step back and watch our children and let them lead us through life? How can we enjoy them and allow them to make our world brighter again? Because our subconscious has already played its little games on us, but theirs is still wide and open. And that's really, really beautiful. So, from what I gather, you do think that everything is aligned to spirituality and parenting is just one little aspect of it. What do you think in your life? Like you said that they're gurus. How has it impacted you the most? This spiritual element into parenting, how does it manifest in your life? Can you share an example
Uh,
or a story?
Definitely, Karishma. Like one small example. Like if children are at home, I'm full on eating the right way according to my knowledge. Once if they step out, I was like, I know the story is so totally different. It's like I've always been watched. I've always been taught. I always feel I have the responsibility. So these children are, without even their knowledge, they are guiding me through my path of being more aware, being more peaceful within me. So many stories that my children are in an environment where there are a lot of animals. So they watch the animals so much and they say, look at the care that they're doing. Look at the way how they're eating. When they see cows, for every bite, they chew a lot, these cows. So when they question, Amma, why are they chewing so much? Then I tell that every particle of food, when it has to go with a lot of saliva, then is when it gets digested. So I have read this, but when I talk is when I really, really understand it so much. These children observe and understand. If I just talk or read it out of a book, they won't get the knowledge as much as they could see it. So for me, every day has been a learning, and children are not biased. They don't have the discrimination of knowledge, they don't have the discrimination of age, they don't have discrimination of rich or poor, anything. They're not discriminated at all. That is what I'm trying to learn. I want to learn that everything is God. There's no discrimination between any dust particle or anything for that matter. So I'm trying to invest my energy and my awareness to understand that everything is God. So these children are making me understand this each day.
So, as a role model and the kind of person that you want your children to be, when you are emulating that person, then you're literally becoming that person.
Mm-hmm.
They are motivating you to do that and they're helping you sort of do that. And I
Yes,
guess regurgitate, like just like the cows regurgitating, you are regurgitating your lessons and your wisdom through teaching them, right?
exactly.
Amazing.
And one more thing that really helped, sorry, one more thing that really helped is, as much as my children are helping, my job or my responsibility of teaching is also helping me. I teach a bunch of children. Children is what is coming to me. A bunch of ladies. Most of them are ladies at this group. So, a bunch of people on leading a minimalistic life. Here, minimalism is not to the stuffs alone; it is to thoughts. How can you have fewer thoughts in your mind? So, as I teach, I observe more. So I wish I only tell the passing batches, you go teach, you'll become more of what you know. So teaching really, really helps to become more aware.
Yes, and that's a good lesson for the teachers out there who are with children, caregivers, grandparents, parents, anyone who's around a child or even adults. Because if we are in that learning mode all the time and we receive those teachings, then all of us, it's a cyclical process. The teacher is teaching, and learning at the same time, and the students are teaching and learning at the same time.
Yeah,
Right? So everyone is gaining.
yeah, because when I teach, I am making sure that I walk the talk. That is giving a lot of prick and more consciousness of, am I walking the talk?
Yes, and that's the only way to be, especially with your children. And I guess there's no other. You can't tell someone else to do something if you can't do it yourself in some way, right? In in
Totally.
in little ways, at least. So then, okay, so we've talked about the spiritual aspect of it, but how about for children? What do you think the dance between physical, emotional, and spiritual is? Like, how do you think all of them, those roles and those elements within them can feel fulfilled?
It came to me after a very long time, that this understanding that body, mind, and soul are all one. And for me, it came very recently, like kind of, it's been only 3 years or something when my mother-in-law passed away, is when I got to learn that everything is just one. You start with anything, maybe you start from the physical thing, it will lead to the point of love. Or you start from the soul, it leads to the point of love. Or you start from food, it's going to be love. You start from education, it is going to be love. So that's when I see the holistic awareness, the holistic understanding of love. So I've started to practice raw veganism. It's been almost 3 years now. So when I read on the books like we are what we eat, I didn't believe it so much. Now I experience we are what we eat. It's so when you keep the system, you keep the body clean, the mind is clean. When the mind is clean, you understand what your soul speaks. So that is awareness. I just was speaking to Hari yesterday. We were just talking about, Akka, what is really positivity? So some people, maybe for example, let us take a surrender. What some people understand surrender is, you post all the responsibility of somebody called God. You throw all the responsibility on him. Like, you do this or whatever you do, I'm going to understand, I'm going to take it. We believe God is somebody who's up in the heavens sitting and showering us with blessings or something. God is not somebody who's there. God is me, God is you, God is everything around, even the speck of dust. So when we understand that, then you listen. You listen to the child, you listen to the flowing breeze, you listen to the blades of grass, everything you listen. That listening, that speaking from the soul is what God is. Then you act on it. It is not something that God is going to come and give you a parcel when you surrender. So, how to listen to the organism or to the surroundings or to everything is when you keep the body clean. When you are interrupting this body with the work of digestion, or when you interrupting this body with the heaviness, how can this inner soul hear to us? So that's when it is equally important to keep all these three are one, and any one cleaning will help us be more aware. So surrender, I feel one shouldn't surrender. Okay, maybe we'll take this. I was just talking about gratitude the other day. So the question was, Akka, if I write gratitude journal, will I be happy? Akka, if I write gratitude journal, will the relationship between me and my husband will change? So we are always starting something with a need. We are always thinking the result of something is what is joy. What I mean is the process itself is joy. The process of being itself is joy and not the result of it. So when you're looking for the result, you're not going to enjoy the process. So surrender is also that. You surrender without a need, without an expectation. Surrender knowing that it is your responsibility and not somebody else's responsibility. Yeah, I think I moved away from the question, but I understand mind, body, and soul are just the same.
So I think that basically the reason that I understand completely where you're coming from and how you view it, because I do believe that body is consciousness and it is our vehicle through which we experience everything. And the differentiation begins when we start thinking that, oh, you know what, the mind is the monkey mind. The physical body is nothing because it's only here for a certain period of time. It's the soul that's at a higher place. But then how do you differentiate it? Because where is the soul resident? Where is consciousness resident? Right? And where does the separation begin? So this act of, oh, I'll keep my self and my body as pure and pristine as possible, giving it the best and most nourishing ingredients. And through that, I will get into a space of surrender or gratitude, because that is my process of being, rather than saying, hey, I want to get better or I want to feel a certain way. So let me do all of this. And then it's like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You're waiting on that, not feel it. And I think that's really well put for people to understand that for your child's needs to be met, look at them as a holistic organism.
Now,
And
I'm feeling start wherever you're comfortable from. If you are able to comfortably eat clean the first thing, do that, you will get there. Or if you want to arrange your space, for me, arranged space, a prepared environment is where I first started with. I didn't start with the clean food, basically. So more and more, I kept my space clutter free, and no, that gave me an understanding what I really want in life. Do I want this or do I don't want this? That organization in the mind reflected in the space, and the space pulled me more organization in the mind, and then food came into my life. So start from something that you can.
yes.
Maybe start from a journal, maybe start from food, maybe start from consciously observing your children. These very small things are more subtler, is more potent.
So how do you recommend that parents draw that energy into themselves to become that parent or to become that caregiver, to become the person who meets these needs? How do you recommend that they do that? Do you have any tools or any tips or practices?
Yeah. First thing I understand as understanding the role of the caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Many, I think, not parenting does not come with a manual. It is we who have to create our own manual. It is our responsibility to understand a lot of things about a child, it's about a parent, and about the me who myself is. So first understand it is a lot of responsibility. It's not like you outsource the responsibility and you get these things done. Parenting is so much so that is what I understand. Many people are like. I've seen children going to what is this playgroup or daycare, some stuff from 6 months onwards, which for me, according to me, is like something that we are losing an opportunity. The child, that's a different path. For you, you are losing a big opportunity to learn. That is what, first, understanding the responsibility of a parent. Once when you understand, okay, in case of asking for a tool, okay, there are two things that happen to me all the time. The children are always talking. For me, I need a lot of headspace to be in that point of being a caregiver. If I am running something in the mind, I am sitting there even without doing anything, the child can easily understand, Amma, what are you thinking? Amma, what happened to you? Amma, you're feeling okay. They understand you from your facial expressions and from your normalcy. There's something that is happening to Amma. So I have to have a lot of headspace in order to be with the child. So in order to create the headspace, what I understand is I start off from journaling. For me, if you ask what is journaling, for me, journaling is like vomiting on the paper. Anything and everything, good, bad, ugly, disagreement, dissatisfaction, improvement, path, anything, I just write it down. When I write down, I feel I'm heard. I feel I'm on the path to whatever I want to. If my path is, I want to be more calm, I want to be more brisk, I want to feel more energetic. If that's my path, I know what I'm doing to get there. It's not that I want to be calm and just doing what I do without taking a step forward. So I understand what my goal is and I work towards it. So when I write, first I see my picture. I see Karishma, to quote an example here, when I look back my journals for the past 7-10 years, whatever I have written is what is in reality today. Exactly, some pinpoints that I have written, exactly things that happen. Uh, it's it is like you training the subconscious mind. When you train the subconscious mind about what you like, what you want, definitely this is designed, pre-designed, that I understand. So this pre-designed mind is talking to my subconscious, and my subconscious is talking to my consciousness. When I'm in tune with my design, is what I understand this journaling is doing to me. So one great tool is just journal. There is no prerequisites, or there's no agenda, or there's no format. Just write, 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 write. There is a beautiful path that you can discover who you are. So one is that a tool in that case. And talking about responsibility of a parent, I dearly, dearly ask all the parents to understand human anatomy, to understand how this body functions. It's so hard uh, for me personally to look into parents who say, don't get drenched in the rain, you will get cold. Don't play in the sand, you will get germs. Like, don't be in the sun, you will get sunburn, you will get rashes. So many things that parents say without, this is just a lack of knowledge. It's not that they are doing it with love. All this comes with a lot of love, I understand, but lack of information is the only thing. So if if parents or caregivers can understand this information, children will be more happier, children will be more freer, they'll be in tune with nature, they will do what they love to do. So doing what you love to do comes from these small little things, rather than growing up into teens and asking, what course you want to study, where do you want to apply for job. So we think these major decisions are which we should listen to the children. No, only if you start listening to the small things that the children love and want to, there is where you really, really make a point that you are a listening parent. So understanding how this physiology works is a very, very, very important requirement of a caregiver.
Okay, beautiful.
So tool is this, responsibility is this.
So one is actually taking care of yourself, which is journaling, because when you take care of yourself and you understand yourself, you can understand your child better.
Yes,
And then when
totally.
you take responsibility of your child in the truest sense of the word, to understand their physiology, to listen to what they have to say, and really be present, then that itself it becomes a tool for you, because you're empowering yourself with the knowledge that they are giving you, and then you can move forward with that. This is sort of leading me to the next question, which is coming up, which is like, if if spirituality is such a la 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 process, everyone talks about parent. If you're going to be spiritual, how does how does freedom and how does discipline come into it? Because it's spiritual, you can just flow with it. It's all predestined. It's already there. So why do we even bring in discipline into that? And how do you think that plays out?
Beautiful question. For me, understanding of science and love for science created this question in me. I have a great love for geography as a child because one of my beautiful teacher made that love for me. So I somehow left it there. But now, becoming the parent, wanting to teach the children, I started off with geography, understanding how this universe functions. So that sparked a huge thing that nature has a lot of discipline. You say it the sun, say it the moon, say it the trees. They are highly disciplined systems. So that is where my inspiration of being in the order for me helped. Yes, we all have to flow what we desire to flow. You cannot flow when your kitchen sink is full, when your dirty laundry is up, when you have children's clothes lying everywhere. That doesn't really make you flow. For me, a discipline is made to flow. That flow is so, for example, one of the discipline that I really follow is for the past few months or so. It's been some 7, 8 months now, so I'm confidently telling of this thing. So as a child, I used to make to-do list. So these are things that I have to do, and I keep marking, and it gave me a lot of sense of satisfaction. Sometimes when I don't do, I feel it really low. So I was understanding this mismatch. Why am I getting high when things are done? Why am I getting low when things are low? So when understanding this, I brought in one more discipline. Can I choose the energy of what I want for tomorrow in order to accomplish these things? There are certain days my to-do list is be lazy today. Don't do anything. When I do that, when I prepare myself for that and be lazy, I'm happy. When I don't prepare for self, and I have so many things listed and I'm being lazy at that time, then I get totally dull. So I get prepared of myself. So one of the things that I chose to do is I prepare the dress that I want to wear for the next day. So this was chosen to be worn at 6 p.m. yesterday evening. Soon after my dinner, I choose a dress that when I write my to-do list, I choose a dress. So for me, what the correlation here is, I choose the energy that I want to play tomorrow. If I have so many things to be played tomorrow, when should I sleep? If I have to sleep at 9 o'clock, what kind of dinner should I eat? What kind of dinner should I eat? I should have certain things prepared. It's not like you entering the 5 o'clock in the evening and like doing whatever available at that moment. Preparation, like, so this preparation of wanting to have a set or required energy for me is discipline. So we have a lot of freedom. Utilize the freedom. You can utilize the freedom by being in a lot of discipline. People most of the time like confuse between freedom and discipline. They think either should be we have a lot of freedom, or either should be people think it's discipline and strict discipline. I have to enjoy my time with not enjoy, observe. I have to have an observant mind when I'm there with my children. Then everything has to be set. Everything has to be playing in accordance to that. My husband should be fed. My father-in-law should be fed and packed. Everything, if it's all said and done, is when I'm able to listen at that moment. So okay now?
Yes.
Audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
We lost you.
Yeah.
You were saying we lost you when you said everything should be set.
I said everything should be in discipline according to you, according to your knowledge, to be free.
Yes. So you're looking at discipline and freedom as the same coin.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're saying
They're not different.
they're not different because within that system of the universe, because the sun shines at a certain time, it sets at a certain time, it's disciplined about when it comes, when it goes. But within that range of where the light falls, how much you want to stand in it, how you want to go away from it, where you know, dry your clothes, or you know, how you build a house in line with the sun. There's so much freedom to play with that. But or in that day, there's so much to do, but you know that the sun is going to set, and therefore we plan accordingly without.
Exactly.
So an inner rhythm also can be built for our children and for us within that same, you know, accordance of nature is
Exactly.
essentially, I think. Yes, it's what
Exactly. Exactly.
lovely. So, what motivates you, Durgesh, to do what you do? Like, what I'm sure everyone who's listening wants to know, like, what motivates you to do this? What motivates you to go deeper? And, you know, because people will say that, you know what, being an aware parent is enough, being a homeschooler is enough. Why go into being minimalist? Why go into being a raw vegan? Um, why keep taking all these steps? Durgesh, I think we've lost you. Hi, you're back.
Hi, I got you back. 1 minute. I'm just aligning. Okay.
Yes.
So you want to repeat the sentence?
Yes. I was saying that what is it that motivates you to do what you do? Because most people who are homeschooling will say that's enough. I think that I've got more than enough on my plate. Or so then you said, okay, now I'm homeschooling, let's start the travel school. Then you started the more minimal life. And then you said, you know what, let's go deeper into discipline and the rhythm of nature. Let's go deeper into um, I think minimalism, and also just going deeper into the self to be a more aware parent. So, how does that work for you? How do you keep feel like what is your motivation to keep going deeper and being a more aware parent? What are the because everyone who's watching wants to know like what is the motivation, right? What motivates you to keep doing that and to going deeper? Because it could have stopped there, it could have stopped here, but it seems like the journey just keeps continuing.
Beautifully questioned, Karishma. For me, the motivation is my clarity on my goal. I know what I want. And that clarity, that focus, razor sharp focus, is what I think is making things happen. So, how I'm able to get that razor sharp focus is one, my journaling habit. Second, meditative practices. Third, my food. And all this is because of my children. That responsibility of being a mother, that motivates me. To be, I'm seeing my children watch me, I'm seeing their life is shaped, seeing me. I understand they are pre-designed beings, but they're drawing a lot of energy from whom. And mainly, I think a woman in the family holds a bigger responsibility. Uh, because of my habits, the whole of the family has changed the way that they eat today. If men had brought something that you have to do this, it would have been a very difficult job to adapt.
We're just waiting patiently for Durgesh to come back. I'm sure she'll be back in a couple of seconds.
So I was just saying, if men had brought any change or men had brought in a new concept to adapt to the family, it would have been very difficult for each one of us to understand and make it happen. But when the woman brings in, she brings in with lot of understanding, lot of awareness, and lot of love. So I think when the women in the family changes, everybody, the change just ripples away with a lot of love.
Yes,
So
because
it is a
that raw veganism is really the next level of sattvic.
totally, totally. So, so starting from to the point of motivation, that clarity. Uh, so that is the real motivation. That I know what I want.
What is it that you want? What is your goal?
My goal, beautiful question. I want to be more calm. I want to understand that everything is love. I understand, but still, what I'm talking and what I'm doing and my words and actions are still not in sync. I
Mm.
want to bring that sync.
Want to bring that synchronity. You can feel it, right, in your body when that synchronity happens sometimes.
Yeah, I think of it. I think of it. I talk about it, but in actions, I'm not still there where I want to be.
That's exactly what I want to say to every single person watching from Kolkata community and beyond, everyone who's watching. It's not because someone is practicing something all the time that they've got it right or there's perfection in anything. It's just about putting that intention and going at it baby steps, like peeling each layer slowly, sometimes painfully, but peeling it because at the end of the day, you I don't want to put words in. At the end of the day, what happens? Can you fill in the blanks, Durgesh?
At the end of the day, I want to feel fulfilled.
Hmm.
I want to be fulfilled. I want to be light.
Light and full. But you already feel certain things through these practices, right? Like, is that why you're getting motivated to do more and go further every time?
Yeah, totally, totally. And my husband is a big inspiration. He's a very organized person. So his push has really, really helped us, all me and my children, so much that we are in sync today. So when we listened and observed his concept, he was ready to believe in the things that I brought in home. So something like raw veganism or something like gentle parenting or conscious parenting. When I brought stuffs like that home, he was listening. He was ready to listen because I listened to him. So listening is the key for everything in this universe. Listen to yourself, listen to everyone, listen to every speck of dust.
Beautiful. That was really nice, Durgesh. I don't know if everyone else is feeling it, but I can totally feel a higher vibration already. Any final message to those who are watching and to
Mhm.
us, to you and me also, I think. Any final thoughts? Hi, Durgesh.
Yeah, but I've got 1 minute. Yeah, it got stuck. I don't know what the issue is.
Yes, it's just going, right?
It's still recording.
Yes.
Thank God this was a recorded session. If it was live,
I know. Yeah, so it can't trust technology too much. But also, I prefer this, I think. Let's see. Yes. So I was asking you if you had any final message for everyone who's listening and,
yeah.
and for you and me also.
Yeah, beautiful. There are many, 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 many tools to be aware, to listen. There are many tools: food, yoga, meditation, um, organized living, organized space, minimalism, discipline, habit formations. There are so many things that are there as tools. But one tool that I dearly, dearly hold it very, very dear to me is journaling. For me, what I am today is because of journaling. And write your heart away. You will know who you are. There are some things we develop that no, I am this, I am that, in accordance to the environment you're in, not according to who you actually are. When you write, you will discover yourself. So right away, write whatever that you feel. There's no format, there's nothing. And many feel that what if somebody takes and read it? there is this key question that everybody asks me. Good that no, they will understand the real you sometime. So
I I I was thinking that also. I'm a huge journaler myself, so I completely endorse everything you're saying. And more than it, I think that yes, it's there for the record, and what if someone reads it is a huge fear for everybody. But it's like the fear of what if who reads it should be so small when you compare to, oh my God, how much am I going to gain from this? So we're always blocked by these little fear blocks every single time, and you're like, okay, what are you going to gain and what is this fear? So compare that, know the difference, because the fears only, it's this chances are this, but what you're going to gain is infinite. So keep that and that open. It was been lovely talking to you, Durgesh. I don't know if everyone
thank
else feels it, but she's as raw and real as the food she eats. And I definitely think that every single person here can feel like parenting can be a spiritual path. It's changed every single one of us as soon as, we've had a baby enter our lives. And I think that if we think about it from the perspective of spirituality, then immediately we realize that yes, it has had that impact. And I think that more than anyone else, Durgesh has brought that to light. So I hope you all gain a lot from this. And thank you for watching Shine Brighter with Solkatha. And here's to Durgesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Karishma. This has been
Really,
wonderful talking to you.
yes, always. Take care, Durgesh.
Thank you.